Once upon a time, in a small village, there was a beautiful little girl named Little Red Riding Hood. She always wore a red hooded cloak that her grandmother had given her, so everyone called her Little Red Riding Hood. One day, Little Red Riding Hood's mother told her that her grandmother was sick and needed some food and medicine. She asked Little Red Riding Hood to bring a basket of goods to her grandmother and instructed her to go straight to her grandmother's house without stopping or talking to strangers. Little Red Riding Hood listened to her mother and set off for her grandmother's house. On the way, she met a large wolf that looked friendly. The wolf asked her where she was going and what she was doing. Forgetting her mother's advice, Little Red Riding Hood happily told the wolf everything. The wolf, upon hearing this, immediately came up with an evil plan. He suggested that Little Red Riding Hood pick some flowers to give to her grandmother and pointed her in a roundabout direction. Little Red Riding Hood, not suspecting anything, followed the wolf's advice and went off to pick flowers. Meanwhile, the wolf ran straight to her grandmother's house. The wolf knocked on the door, imitating Little Red Riding Hood's voice. Her grandmother thought it was her granddaughter and opened the door. The wolf jumped in and swallowed her grandmother whole, then put on her clothes, donned her glasses, and lay down in bed to wait. When Little Red Riding Hood arrived, she found the door open and sensed something was wrong. She stepped into the room and saw her grandmother lying in bed. She approached and asked, "Grandmother, what big ears you have." "All the better to hear you with, my dear," replied the wolf. "Grandmother, what big eyes you have." "All the better to see you with, my dear," the wolf answered. "Grandmother, what big teeth you have." "All the better to eat you with," roared the wolf, jumping out of bed to devour her. Little Red Riding Hood screamed, and fortunately a hunter passing by heard her cries. He rushed into the house and saw the wolf about to eat Little Red Riding Hood. The hunter used his axe to kill the wolf, saving Little Red Riding Hood and her grandmother. They found her grandmother still alive inside the wolf's stomach and rescued her. From that day on, Little Red Riding Hood learned a valuable lesson about not trusting strangers and always listening to her mother. She lived happily with her family and never forgot that memorable lesson.